Good morning, friends of the Umlauf and other people. This is your Umlauf curator, Katie Robinson Edwards. Take two about this wonderful surprise we have today. First of all, we are here at University of Texas South Mall on 21st Street. This is the primary and most important entrance to University Texas at Austin. And you will see right here, you are looking at Littlefield fountain designed by Paul Philippe Cray, and the sculpture is by Pompeo Copini. Please put a pin in that. We're going to talk about that fountain later. It has a very interesting history because it was actually intended to be a Confederate monument, and by the time they built it, they changed it to be in honor of people who had died in World War I. So it's a bit controversial and extremely interesting. Also, the iconography is fascinating. But I'll also want to spend another Facebook Live talking about this thing right here, which is UT Tower, designed by Paul Philippe Cray and built in 1937. Cray also obviously designed the fountain and was a Frenchman who came from Philadelphia, working in the Beaux-Arts style. Also extremely interesting because they mowed down a very different building that hadn't even been up that long as the main building to build the UT Tower. But I also want to flip the camera around, and more importantly today we're going to talk about Charles Umlauf, and a Charles Umlauf sculpture, a relief sculpture that probably very few people watching this video even know existed. As I said, we are on 21st Street, and importantly, so this is UT campus. Charles Umlauf comes to UT in 1941, and one of the earliest pieces he did near campus is down here at University Baptist Church, not on campus, and in fact, he did not have any work on campus until 1960, at which point he had several. But one of those, by the way, is over here where the business school is. It's the family group from 1960 that we've talked about before. Again, that didn't happen until Umlauf had been on campus for 19 years. He had quite a reputation. He had quite a reputation, and it was kind of surprising that UT did not hire him to make any sculpture by one of their most famous artists until 1960, but that's another story. In the meantime, he did that University Baptist Church, and he worked on the relief panel here at the beautiful University Christian Church. And this is something that I'm pretty sure people haven't seen, and I'd like to encourage you to come over here on your bicycle. You can also park pretty easily on campus because sadly there aren't that many people or students here. But look at this building that was built in 1954 on the site of where some GI housing had been. And then in 1954, building also designed by Jessen and Jessen Architects, the same people who helped with the UT master plan and designed Charles Umlauf's house that we'd love you to come see sometime, by the way. But look at this beautiful limestone, locally quarried Cordova limestone. Here's the fossiliferous limestone that dominates so many UT buildings that is also local. And this was quarried in Cedar Park. And down below you also see some local granite that is anchoring, there we go, anchoring the entire building. That probably came out from near Marble Falls. So the University Christian Church is made in a material that matches so many buildings on campus. And by the way, prior to the more clean separation of church and state, this actually was sort of seen as part of campus, and that changed later. But it was as close to campus as Umlauf got until 1960. But they hired him to make these figures of the four evangelists. So he made two relief panels in limestone. This one here, he did not do the lettering. And then he did this panel. And let's look at them. They're beautiful in the medieval style. And what you see here is that double-headed figure is actually St. Matthew and St. Mark as men. And then look over here and you'll see Matthew depicted as a man, and then St. Mark as his symbol, the lion, right there. And then we'll go over here and we'll see the other two evangelists. And here we've got St. Luke as an ox, you can see on the left, and on the right, of course, that eagle is St. John. And again, with them also repeated in their form as men, which was a very common conceit in the medieval period, which was the inspiration for this. In fact, the whole church is made a little bit more like a Gothic building. And I want to come around and show you something else. Lots to talk about in this church. I'm only hitting the tip of the iceberg today. This is the tympanum that I'm not actually sure who carved it, but it has all of the disciples' symbols here, with one exception that we can talk about later. There's a little trick about them leaving Judas Iscariot out of it. But I want to show you, I've left my computer very safely here. I want to show you a typical characteristic medieval tympanum right here to show you the kind of symbolism that influenced Umlauf. So here you see a tympanum in Burgos, Spain, with Christ at the center, as he should be. And then over here, you're also going to see St. Mark as a lion, St. John as an eagle, St. Luke here as an ox, and then St. Matthew actually as a man, but they're also double depicted. Here you go. Here as studious evangelists and apostles, and here. So this is the type of design that Umlauf is relying on. Again, this is probably like a 12th, 13th century when he did this. So I would like to, again, there's lots more to discuss here, and I would love to invite people to come by UT campus and look closely at those Umlauf reliefs I just showed you. And then stay tuned with us on Facebook Live when we talk more about the Pompeo Copini Fountain and also the main building. Thanks so much. We hope to see you soon. Stay well.